Hello viewers, you are welcome to my channel The Indian Weather, and today we are being joined by one of the most well-known defense analysts of India, and he is none other than retired Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar sir, who has been awarded the Vishish Seva Medal for his courageous service in the Indian Army for more than 40 years. So we are being joined by Rajan sir today on some of the topics that are ongoing in the world order right now, and like the recent conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and how this conflict is changing the world order in the means of superpowers. So we are being joined by Rajan sir on the discussion today. So Rajan sir, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Manoj. Pleasure to be on a show.
Thank you, sir. So, viewers, today we have few questions regarding this bipolar world, where we are seeing that there are daily-based conflicts between either a superpower or a less power-based country, or in the world where we are seeing that there are being continuous challenges being faced by those nations who are less powerful, and the countries like US or the NATO are supporting those countries against those superpowers whom they deemed as enemy since 1950s. So, my first question to you is, Mr. Kochhar, how do you see like the this multipolar world, like after the Russian conflict will end in upcoming weeks or months? How do you see, sir?
Himanshu, the recent events of the world are have sent ripples all over. It's threatening the world peace today. It all commenced with the Chinese incursions into Ladakh. We had the unrest in Nagorno-Karabakh with Armenia and Azerbaijan. We had the Israeli attack on the Hamas. We had Now we are seeing the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. It is a great transformation we are seeing in the thinking of the world on how disputes can be influenced. And what we are seeing is that disputes are being influenced through violence and coercion. And this brings us to the manifestation of the New World Order. What we are going to see in the New World Order in times to come, there will be many more such conflicts. We already have a problem in Taiwan where China is flexing its muscles. We also have North Korea, which is threatening Japan and also becoming a threat to the United States. And we have a problem of Iran. We saw a recent missile attack from Iran into Iraq on a Israeli facility in Iraq. So we are seeing these things happening in this world, which is not conducive for the world peace. And one more important aspect which I want to highlight here is the failure of the United Nations. The United Nations has a very well laid down mechanism on conflict resolution, but unfortunately, United Nations structure is as such. The Security Council has got five permanent members who have to decide, and each one of them has a veto power. And when the superpowers get involved, or the Security Council members get involved, especially the permanent members of the Security Council, then United Nations becomes defunct. So we have seen this thing actually happening, and today what we are seeing, uh, a resurgence of a new world order, a post-Cold War. I can uh, try to name it as a Cold War 2.0. What is happening is that earlier we had the NATO and we had the Warsaw Pact countries. 1991, the Warsaw Pact countries got dissolved. So we only have the NATO. So we would like to ask a question: why do we need NATO in today's environment when there is no other military grouping which is facing NATO? The Cold War 2.0, as I was mentioning, is going to be aligned with another grouping which is going to be a counter to NATO. And this is going to be China, Russia, Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey. And you will find some of the Central Asian republics will also get sucked into it. So it is not auguring well for the world today to have this kind of a grouping, because basically it is going to lead us to the Third World War. And when we speak about this, I'm not speaking as a rhetoric, or I'm not saying it for the sake of saying, but this dynamics which is actually happening is leading us to the Third World War. And one more important aspect which I want to highlight here is today we have only nine nations in the world who have nuclear weapons. So nuclear weapons has been a deterrent, and you would have seen that when a nation acquires nuclear weapons, other nations think twice before attacking this nation. Now, what we are seeing in Ukraine is that you uh, ordered Ukraine to dismantle its nuclear weapon structure. You transferred all the nuclear weapons from Ukraine to Russia. And today you have a country which is defenseless without any nuclear weapons and easy to attack now. So, this is sending a strong message to the world today that for the other countries who are non nuclear to get nuclear now, because there will be increasing demand on these nations now to also go in for nuclear technology as a deterrent, so that the other countries will think twice. Today, Pakistan has got nuclear weapons, and you see that is one of the reasons where it feels that if anybody attacks Pakistan, it will launch a nuclear weapon. So, I mean, this is a important observation from my side, that we are getting into an era of violence, of militarization. Japan and Germany have already announced that they want to build up their military arsenal. The defense industry is getting a boost, because that is what the United States also desired. In actually spreading, it is sending weapons to Ukraine to fight the Russians, knowing fully well that it is going to cause a lot of damage to Ukraine in the end. So we are getting into this era where I think a better sense should prevail upon the nations now, and they should move towards a peaceful environment. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, sir, my next question to you, that you have just discussed about a new Cold War era of, we can say about 2.0. So, sir, how do you see the potent of Cold War for 2.0?
You see, today you are moving towards a multipolar world. Now, when you are becoming multipolar, it means that every you are not polarized into a US centric or a China centric or a Russia centric world. Here, every nation has got his own power, his own national power to make a difference in the geopolitics of the world. So, on one side, we are talking of a multipolar. On one side, we are talking of a Cold War 2.0, where we are talking about groupings. We already have AUKUS. I relate this to AUKUS. Australia, UK, and America have joined together to form a military alliance to counter China in the Indo-Pacific Ocean. So you are already building up these kind of alliances to counter a particular nation, and then we are talking of a multipolar world. So it is a dichotomy. It is thinking is getting polarized now, that we want to maintain hegemony. We will not allow any other country to become stronger than us. And if any other country aims to become stronger than us, we will ensure its downfall. So these kind of forces are emerging today, and it is going to impact India's security environment also. So we also will have to get into our act very soon.
Yes, sir. So, sir, how do you see like the nuclear proliferation by the countries on the cards right now in this present world?
You see, a nuclear option is an option which will only be exercised if the sovereignty of a superpower gets threatened. Like, for example, if there is a NATO attack on Russia, or or a US missile strike on Russia, so then it gets exercised. It will only happen in that eventuality, but in the normal course, what is happening in Ukraine, Russia is not going to resort to a nuclear strike. So that is for certain. So we don't visualize any nuclear strike as of now, because basically you see what happens is that if Russia also goes nuclear, what prevents the United States from going nuclear? So it is a tit for tat. So I think it won't happen.
So, sir, how do you see like the military might influence of foreign the foreign policy of India or for the world?
You see, today it's the law of the jungle. You know, a person who is weak, he gets eaten up. And that is why, for a comprehensive national power, one of the most important pillars of that national power is your military might. And earlier you realize it, better it will be for you. And as far as India is concerned, India has got a very long way to go to be able to be considered as a very strong military power. See, basically, our army is capable of defending the country, but our army is not capable of uh, projecting its force beyond the shores of India, or dominating the Indian Ocean, or getting into the Indian Pacific Ocean and dominating the other countries there. We have we have not reached the stage of China or United States or Russia or even France, for that matter. So we are right now a force which is strong enough capable enough to defend our own country. So in case we want to be recognized at a global level as a power of reckoning, we will have to develop the capability of our armed forces to be able to project itself beyond the boundaries of the country. See, And one important component of this is your naval power. We have to strengthen the Indian Navy. We have only one aircraft carrier, INS Vikramaditya. INS Vikrant is also getting refurbished, so maybe in the next 2 years it will become operational. And INS Vishal is thinking we are actually having for a third aircraft carrier. So, considering the economy of this country, we may not be in a position to have a third aircraft carrier because it involves a lot of money and expenditure. But certainly, we'll have to boost up our capability in two areas. One is hypersonic missiles, and the other is nuclear submarines. So we'll have to get into these two important areas because tomorrow's war is not going to be fought in the manner it was fought earlier of our earlier episodes of the 62 or the 71 war. Tomorrow's war is going to be a technological war. You'll have to have an edge in your cyber warfare. You'll have to have artificial intelligence getting into your systems. You will have to have a, a rocket and a missile capability hundreds of kilometers deep. You will have to get into the system. You will have to have your drones, your swarm drones concept, as we have.
My next question to you is about the Ukrainian and Russian conflict. Like Russia had planned to end this conflict as early as in 10 days, but this has been going on since last about 48 days. So how do you see like this conflict is going to end so soon, or it will be going on for a year or so?
See, Himanshu, you are speaking the language of the media. Ukraine is a country which is as large as 6 lakh square kilometers. It has 4,500 kilometers on the land borders. It has approximately 1,700 square kilometers of maritime boundary. How can you expect any army to capture such a large country, which is second largest country in Europe, in 10 days? It's not possible. And Russia had moved in not as a force which was considered like an occupation force. It had only moved in on a special military operation to take over the eastern and the southern part of Ukraine to be able to create a buffer zone for its own security from the NATO and from the Western influence. So, if you see the operation, the way it has been planned by the Russian army, it is very, very clear that its three major thrust lines have been in the east and the south and the north. The north has been a diversionary tactics to actually move and suck in the Ukrainian army towards the north so that the south and the east become slightly easier for the Russians to capture. And in these 46, 47 days, we have seen Russia has more or less destroyed the military potential of Ukraine. All ammunition dumps have been taken care of. All oil depots and your FOL centers have been destroyed. Command and control centers have been destroyed. All your nuclear reactors have been utilized. So basically, Russia has ensured that tomorrow it will take Ukraine decades to build up all that what has been destroyed and to become a military power. And Russia was also interested in creating a land corridor from Crimea onto Mariupol and on to the Donbass region. So it wants to create a land bridge and join Crimea. And that is why it wants Ukraine to recognize Crimea. It wants Ukraine to accept a separate state of Donbass, and therefore uh, the end state will only happen after Ukraine accepts all these and after the Russian army is able to comprehensively capture the eastern part and the southern part up to Mariupol and those adjoining areas. And once it has been accomplished by the Russian army, which I feel that it should take a couple of months more of fighting, it would happen because the result has been delayed because of the supply of the weapons from a large number of countries to Ukraine to fight this battle. And Ukrainians are fighting valiantly, but they don't have that kind of a military might which the Russians have, and they will capitulate in a few months' time, and you will find that at the end of the day, Russia would have achieved its political and military.
So thank you very much, sir, for joining us today, and we hope that we'll be meeting so soon on these topics in the upcoming days. Thank you very much, sir. Jain, have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Manchu. Jai Hind.